went to Crispus Attucks as a child. I think I was 15 months old. It was daycare. Excuse me, that was about 1943. We were the working poor. My mother was a domestic, and my father was a domestic butler, and then later got a job at Armstrong as a janitor. I was always motivated to do something better. I was the first in my family to graduate from high school, first to graduate from college, and the first to get a Ph.D. I started at Millersville in 1961, and the tuition was $75. And that was paid for me by my doctor, family doctor, and he never asked me to pay him back. I applied twice to graduate school. The second round, I applied to Yale, Harvard, and Middlebury. Middlebury accepted me, and so did Harvard, and I thought, well, let me try Harvard. And I got there, and to my horror, I discovered that in my second year, I would have to teach. The first day of class, I walked in, I looked at the students, they looked at me, and I thought, someone has to say something. So I wrote on the board, "Guten Morgen, wie geht's?" And they repeated it. And after a couple of exercises like it, I thought, wait a minute, I know more than they do. And since then, I've been at ease in the classroom. I joined the board of Crispus Attucks in the 1980s. I was actually vice president. Nelson Polite Sr. was the president, and we worked on various programs. We tried to keep the story alive. There's a need for a center where young people can get together and do constructive things, find out about their history, and work with other kids. It's important for young people to have a sense of tradition, of belonging to their community, and knowing that past generations cared, and they should also care. Well, I think it's wonderful what the High Foundation has done. I've met Mr. High, and he's really engaged in our community. He's also from the section of town that I grew up in. Being honored it doesn't come often for me, and I feel especially honored to receive this, especially from an agency that I grew up in.
Well, I grew up living in the southeast area, but my grandmother happened to live directly across the street from Crispus Attucks on Howard Avenue. So I always knew about it. As a matter of fact, my grandmother's sister was the cook. So we went school lunch there, we played basketball there and Knox hockey and all kinds of arts and crafts. We even roller skated on that floor. Right after Martin Luther King was killed, I went through some pretty tumultuous years in high school. Vietnam War, a lot of protests, a lot of racial tension in the high school at McCaskey for my 3 years. And immediately after there, I was recruited to be one of the Lancaster City Police Cadets. Really got involved in what was happening in Lancaster. We had some really rough years in the 80s, a lot of drug problems. So I also got involved with buying 2 houses. A bunch of concerned citizens bought 2 houses in the first block of Green Street and brought a Hogarth Cray, drug rehab, into the city. I was heavily involved in making arrests, trying to stop the scourge of our neighborhoods, but also in trying to rehabilitate people. And in 1997, they needed a criminal justice teacher for the school district of Lancaster. I left the police department and then went to McCaskey and taught criminal justice at McCaskey for 14 years. I met Dale High last year, and I know of the numerous projects that he has monetarily supported down through the years. He is a gift to the Lancaster community. From somebody who's lived in Lancaster, in the Lancaster area all my life, I really appreciate the efforts that are put forth by the High Foundation. It means a lot to share this, that somebody else will take what I say and go on and complete that task of keeping our neighborhood strong.